Hi everyone, it's Jen. I am the creatrix of the Mystic Living School, and today I'm going to be interviewing two of my former practitioners who have graduated recently. So I see they are on time, so yay. Let me. All right, so you're going to have to request to join, or I can invite. All right, cool. Yay! Awesome. Can you guys hear me okay? Okay,
Can you
good.
hear us?
Yes, I just wanted to make sure because I had to charge my earbuds or my earphones.
Oh,
So thank you so much for being here. Let me fix my head because usually when I do these lives, my is all over the place. Thank you everyone who is joining us live. I don't know if you guys have shared with your community, but I welcome all that are able to come. I know it's kind of an odd hour, but it's always fun to watch the replay. So I'm just going to pin in our comments that if anyone has any questions for Valerie and Jose to please go ahead and comment anytime. Let me just put that in really quick. Any questions for Valerie and Jose, please post in the comments. Oops, in the comments. Okay, awesome. So I got that, and let me just pin it. Okay, great. So thank you both for being here. I'm very excited. As I mentioned, I do these intuitively, and so it was just becoming more clear and clear. And now that I found out that you guys have a website and everything all established, I'm like, oh gosh, you guys are like really doing it. So if you can share with our community, and again, the reason for this live is to talk about your journey as healers and what this has been like for you as a couple, and using your healing gifts, your healing abilities, and other skills and talents that you each have, what you're doing to make a difference in your community. So if I could first off just ask, if you could share who you are, how you help people, and just anything else you would like our communities to learn.
perfect. Well, we'll start with our individual quick journey and then how we came together and our journey forward, on how we kind of approach our community. But you can go first.
Okay, so for a little bit about myself, I'm a retired Master Sergeant from the Marine Corps, 20 years in the military. So that's kind of where everything began. After I retired, it was a journey of a transition, trying to find either a new career, knew what's going on, and that led me to talk to my wife Valeria and figure out like what's next, and that was very difficult. But I individually went on a spiritual journey, like figuring out, okay, what is this? Things aren't happening right, and then it kind of just landed on us. We're just talking about it. It's like, what are we gonna do? I'm here. I had several job interviews, and nothing was like hitting. So it was just like, this is odd. Why am I still here? So I was like, this is just not right. And I'm one that would always sit and just kind of go with the flow type of deal. And in life, I didn't know this before, but in life, it was like I'd always do that, and then something hits me and says, oh, you got to go this way. And I'm like, okay. And I would go. So I would intuitively listen to that, and I wouldn't even understand what that was beforehand. So after that, it's like that's where we talked about it, what's going on, and then she's the one that brought it to my attention of, what this certification program was. So, a little bit more about myself. I'm also a graphic designer. I'm a photographer. That was like a little hobby that I picked up in the military. And my main passion in life is to, mentor, coach. I did a lot of that in the military, and then, ultimately to help others. When I see others do well, that's what brings me joy.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Awesome.
a little bit. I have been working tons of different ways over my career in the last 25 years, really finding myself and my passions while trying to provide and put food on the table. I established a company a couple years ago and really made it flexible to where it was kind of serving the community in different ways. But long ago, I found my own spiritual awakening happening in my own journey. And in the self-discovery phase of womanhood and motherhood and trying to establish my purpose, we both kind of were on our own personal journeys. And when I went out and sought out some information from the universe, we'll say, it said it's time for you to go to school. So I started looking up for schools and I found your program and I brought it home, and it was right at the time that he was like, I don't know, there's something out there for us. And he said, this is it. And we both just jumped on it, and we'll later expand on how we expanded our business to now include this passion of ours.
Yeah. So what were you guys doing before? If you could share a little bit about that before the program.
Yeah, I was doing the graphic design. So that was my thing is, I wanted to start my own small business of graphic design. So obviously that's, when you're freelancing in the beginning, not much income. We started a family, we're together. So I was like, I needed another source of income. So that's why I was looking for other jobs, like another career. But in the meanwhile, I was doing, graphic design from photography, logo design, website design, and marketing. So I was doing a lot of that.
For me, it's kind of twofold. I have been really successful in my career. I have a degree in business administration. I work for a really large corporation here in California, but there was something more that I needed. And so for many years, I've been doing kind of my side hustle, so to speak. I teach quinceañeras and choreography for quinceañeras, and then that expanded to incorporating his graphic design and his photography. We started an apparel line years ago, and that's been going. So it's always been, how can I help the people around me, the community, small businesses, teams, sports. So anything I've done, I've carried two hats, and that's the corporate hat, but this personal passion hat was always brewing in me. And so it just kind of led us down this path, and we needed to go through our own self-discoveries before we can formally make it a business. So it was definitely the right pathway for us to find you and go through this program.
Yeah. And I thought Jose was going to say something. His lips were moving, so I didn't want to interrupt. But, and along that journey, if you guys want to just focus on how did you come together to have this passion of wanting to do these things for your communities? And if I could say, multi-passionate, multidisciplinary ways of how you've been able to be of service. I mean, Jose, your background too in the military and doing the mentoring. I'll ask you, Jose, first. How has that led you to what you want to do now in the world, and who is it that you are looking to work with, or have you worked with, and how can people also get to know more about your work?
So my background in the military, I moved up on the ranks to pretty high, become a master sergeant, and I did a lot of mentoring. That just came natural to me, leading the Marines, teaching them, and that's where I found my passion. Like, I love to mentor and coach them. And then when they leave outside the Marine Corps, whether it's first contract or, they do another 20 years, it was always a sense of, yes, they're going to do well. And for me, that's where I felt called after, the certification program, learning more about it. It was like a calling for me, like, this is what I have to do. It's like that mentoring, the coaching. So the intuitive spiritual coach, a personal mentor, that's the people that just don't know where to go in life, they're just stuck, or, spiritually, it's like, I don't know what I'm doing. Do I believe in something? Do I, whatever it may be. I just like to have a sit down and talk to them and then guide them in the right direction, because a lot of people don't understand. And I've been through a lot. Military is one. Prior to my growing up, there's a lot of experiences that I've had within my lifetime, and I feel like I'm one thing about me is I'm like a generator and a life experimenter. So I need to a lot of information, and I'm one that when I speak, it's probably because I've done it already.
Mm.
So when I
Mm-hmm.
get that experience, it's coming with exactly that is the experience on my life, what I've seen, the good and the bad. But I understand that this life, there's more to it, and everybody's on their own little journey. And I just want them to get on that right track. So I'm looking for any of those, anyone that's really just wanting that coach, that mentor, in whatever aspect in your life that may be. So.
Mm-hmm. And then if I could follow up with you, primarily in the healing arts, it is women. And so you being a guy, and a husband, father as well, and so on. But just as far as, being a male in the healing arts, in the creative arts, how can you share with us, like, what were some of your steps or processes of overcoming, if that's the word, or like destigmatizing that, oh, men, they need to be tough, or machismo, that kind of route. Can you share with us a little bit about like what that's journey been like for you? And then for those who maybe other men or more masculine energies, how could you also inspire them to kind of normalize or just help them through that process of what you went through?
Oh, definitely. From childhood through the military, even more is that stigmatism or the machoism.
Mm-hmm.
The military, where you don't bring personal things, to work, kind of deal, set them aside. But as I moved on, gained life experiences, I knew there was something different about me. Like, I'm an emotional guy, and that's what do you mean an emotional guy? Like, yeah, emotional. I could watch a movie, I could cry, I could feel energies, other people's energies, and
Mm-hmm.
this whole time I thought, I thought it was anxiety. I thought I was like, what was labeled a crybaby growing up. Like, no, I could feel those energies. Is what I've learned is like I pick up on those energies, and I didn't know what to do with them, so I would expel them. And for me, it's that the stigmatism. What men are supposed to be macho and not supposed to show any feeling. No, a real man shows feeling.
Mm-hmm.
You have to be what's the word? What's the word they use? You have to be in tune with your feelings. Have an emotional uh, knowledge, like emotional intelligence, right there.
Mm-hmm.
It's a higher level. If as a man, if you can understand that, your life changes and you become a better man, and even with that, you become a better husband, a better boyfriend, a better individual. As a man, because now you're really learning and understanding what it is you yourself are going through. Because men are tough,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, but there's not. It's not all about toughness. It's understanding yourself and your feelings, and then how to portray that. That's one of our programs that we offer is, an Empowered Connections program where we help people understand that from a guy's perspective and, a female perspective. But I use now my intuitive gift
Mm-hmm.
to understand it, help bring that out for men, because men can't. It's hard. It's difficult for men to express, but now I can intuitively feel that energy and help them understand it. And going through the certification program, there's a friend of ours that I actually tried it without even him knowing,
Mm-hmm.
and it worked. I was able to lead him to understand his own feelings and change his mindset so he can help his relationships. So, oh yeah, definitely, for men out there, and whoever's out there listening, like, we have feelings. It's okay to show them.
Mm-hmm.
Also being in that safe space, non-judgmental space, to allow that to happen and watch them grow. When men can get through that, it's another level. I see it.
Yeah. And Valerie, has that had any impact on your relationship, or just how you guys interact, or just any of that?
Absolutely. I think taking it back to our own selves and the way we are ourselves, um, we're very passionate people. We're very loving people. We try to naturally inspire others by either helping them, in ways of learning from our own situation. We both individually have been through so much. And we realize that there's therapy, and then there's kind of figuring life out, figuring ourselves out. And what we found is that there's an ability that we have to help others in this space. In my case, I've been dealing with a lot of teenagers through my years of mentoring and dancing with them, the families, a lot of mothers, and having been through so many things, it's not that we know it all, but we have an opportunity to call on our own resource to say how we got through it, or things to empower and support others. So that empowering nature of ours collided together when we came together, and we decided, you know what, we needed to build a track for this, a track where he can mentor, he can find, whether it's military personnel, whether it's males, it's couples. We knew we had to kind of put it out there for the community in a way that was going to lead us to have that open channel to support the community in however needs to be supported. And so that has led us down building our programs. And when we found the certification program, it topped it off with the abilities to pull out our own gifts within ourselves and really allowed us to utilize those gifts as a vehicle to help others. And that's what's been so exciting, help individuals with, transformational type of experiences, healing, but really more so the personal and relationship, opportunities. It's almost like we don't learn certain things in school about ourselves and how to find ourselves, and we get into relationships, and then all of a sudden we're learning so much more. And then we're, kind of in situations we don't know how to deal with. And so coping, finding ways through it, feeling empowered, much like a life coach, it's the spiritual coach, it's the relationship coach. It's the way that we're penetrating the community to say, hey, we're here to support you. And we just use our tools and our means that we learned in your program as one of our methods and modalities to provide that support to the community. So it's exciting that we can offer so much to teens, to women, to men, to couples. There's just an array of opportunity for us now that we've been able to kind of sharpen our own tools a little bit through your program.
Yeah. And can you expand on that a little bit more? Like, what specifically would you say are the tools, are the skills that you guys have developed from the program?
Me first?
Yeah.
So I think I've always had some abilities, my own strengths and intuition. Having gone through so much as a young child, I realized that I was different. And I actually took a long time to establish and figure that out, because I thought I was just weird and different, and found myself very sensitive. I just had this ability to know, just don't do certain things or do certain things. And I was frequently throughout my lifetime judged and kind of abandoned, so to speak, in certain ways. So I called on my own, through my own spiritual awakening, I called on my own strengths and wanted to really flesh them out and learn about them. Is this a strength? Is this a weakness? And when I found how the strengths were through your program, I was able to kind of put two and two together. The things you taught us, such as utilizing the crystals or utilizing, the tarot reading or any of our senses, those things only added to what I found and discovered were my own strengths. So putting all those together alongside my own passion, and this is where we differ a little bit, I love the root cause. I love to get down to the root cause and let's deal with it. And if we can go to therapy, and that will work too, and I have a passion for that as well. But it's almost like, let's get down to the bottom of things so one can truly begin to work through it in whatever capacity the person wants to. So putting those things together, my root cause abilities, my own personal strengths of whether it's, my being the empath or having some of the clairsenses, alongside the ability to do the energy healing, those things combined have led me down a path to operate a certain way. And I'll let him speak on his, but we're a little bit different, which is great, because we take healing and support in so many different ways through the two of us. No, go ahead.
Yeah, with me it was the crystal healing was phenomenal. I loved it. The fact that I understand energies and feel them, and where I can provide the rock, the crystals, and those modalities is like I loved it. That's what hit me and drew me in because I feel like I can help align and balance people and then move
Mm.
their energies so that way they can be, so to speak, free, right? They can be relief, whatever they're trying to find. So understanding and thinking intuitively, how to lay them out was just so wonderful for me. Like when going through your program the first time doing it, I was like, what? Hearing the feedback, I
Uh-huh.
was like, okay, this is awesome. I was like, all
Yeah.
right, but understanding, when you get into that space and you're helping others, that's like I want to do it again. I want to do it more, and I understood then, that this is going to help people. So for me,
Mm.
it's doing that and using my clear senses as well. The fact of knowing what they need is
Mhm.
always well, and then yeah, just continually being in your program and just getting that practice in and the uh, just being what's the word, um, just having the practices and confidence
Mhm.
to know that this is the right way. Like so many times, even after class, it's just like, okay, when's the next one? When's the
Oh,
next
good.
one?
Yeah, if I can add, I was probably a couple years ahead in my own spiritual
Yeah,
awakening and journey, and so I was kind of ready and eager. And
Mhm.
him, through his personal journey, he's been kind of skeptic in terms of, oh, I don't know, we'll see. And I kept saying, no, there's something about you, right? We kind of
Yeah.
know already. And I'm like, there's something about you, and you just have this ability. And then I found this cyclical charge that was happening between the two of us, and he didn't even know. So
Mhm.
when we got to the program, it was like, challenge it, let's challenge it. And it
yeah,
made us grow stronger because going through the program together as two individuals, we would end class and then we would sit there for hours and we would practice and we
yeah,
would challenge each other. We would challenge each other's strengths and gifts. Let's see it. Let's see if you
Mm.
really and
Mhm.
it literally strengthened us in terms of not only practicing but believing. And I
yeah.
think that was the key, is for him to be the believer and to
Right.
practice, that we were on the right track at that point.
Yeah, and information. I'm big with finding out. I need the information, and that's one thing I could say. Your class gave me all the information. And I remember in our class we were talking about that. Like, well, I just need all this information. The way you have your modules laid out, I was like, oh, that. Like, I was like, yep, yep. Ooh, and just like in the goodie bags, like, what else
Oh,
can I have?
good.
So, and I always revert back to it, and that alone, like just from us going to class, hearing it, but me reading it
Mhm.
and just getting it down, I was like, oh yeah, well laid out. Like I loved it.
Oh, wonderful. Wonderful. So, as you two have explored, your healing abilities and strengthened that and become more confident in those abilities, have you seen any difference with your family's reactions as to this healing journey or being, I don't know if you guys call each other, healing practitioners or how you describe to your friends and family, are they accepting? Are they like skeptical? Are they a little bit of both? If you could share a little bit about that too.
Yeah, I'll go first.
Okay.
I grew up, with the family very spiritual. My mom is, and so I knew, when I was on this journey, I was like, gotta talk to mom. I
Mm.
gotta have her, I gotta have her in on this and understand it. So, you know, I called her up and told her, yeah, mom, just kind of doing this one thing. Just want you to know I'm on a spiritual journey type thing. She's like, okay. So and like she wanted to know what it was, and so like I opened up to her and I straight up just told her this is what I'm doing. I knew it was different. There's nothing, I had to let her know. It's like it wasn't you, just something else inside me is telling me I need to go this way. Um,
Mm.
she was well like okay, that's fine. I was like, all right then. And I just needed that for myself too. And
Mm.
with my brothers, my older brother, I called him, let him know too, and they were all open, and I was happy to
Yeah.
hear that. And I had those them my older brother and my mom were the first two that said, all right, come, let me try this so they could see it. And especially my mom, and get emotional. On the class when I brought my mom in, it was awesome to see that. I helped her find her space. So, and I did that through my guided meditation, and something led me to like, all right, I need to lead her down this pathway. I felt there was a lot going on her, and I laid the stones and just guided her through, and the reaction was phenomenal. Just talking about it, because my mom found her personal space, and I reminded her, yeah, you've always had that. Now that you've gone through that, you understand, Mom, this is where you fill yourself with joy. This is where you fill yourself with happiness. And she was just so happy, and I was like, all right, so she understands. And I was like, and it was a blessing to see her go through that, and I was like, yes. And my brother, like, he even had some good feedback, saying like, it's so funny because he said he even tested me.
Oh, he did?
Yeah, that he was like, I had the rocks, and then, I got called intuitively, like, use his hands. So I placed a nice big heavy rock on his hand. And then his feedback, he's like, yeah, he kind of felt like, okay, this is something, he should feel me. Like, he was literally leaving his hand there for me to feel him, and I connected with him. And I was like, oh, that's interesting you say that. And then I show him the spread, and he's like, that's what I felt. That's what I felt. Yes, I did feel that energy coming from you. Like, I needed to go there. So it was awesome going through that and sharing that with my family. They're all supportive. And yeah, they felt even with crystal healing, my brother was able to sleep well that night. My mom, the next day she says that, she was able to meditate and just be free of, the world, just be within herself. So
yeah.
I think one interesting part about that story is that what he meant earlier by mom was very spiritual. She's very religious. So taking on the religion and spirituality conversation with family up front as we're going through this was a little bit intimidating, because we didn't want to step on the religion boundaries, but we have this calling and we have this purpose and this gift, and so how do we promote that, So we found that balance in that conversation, and to get acceptance through that and understanding, right, I think was really helpful for him and us together to be blessed with that acceptance. So Mama's watching. We love you, Mama.
Okay. Yay. Hi.
And the other thing I wanted to add on my perspective, I see some of my dance kids are watching.
Oh, yeah.
So some kids that I've been Mama Val to in years past, I'm talking 5, 6, 10 years ago. And that Mama Val persona was that loving, kind of supportive second mama when I was with them. And I had experiences with these kids like foster kids and orphans, and I had all kinds of situations and, all kinds of family dynamics. And so I felt a lot of connection over the years. But with personal friends and family, it's like, okay, thank you for your information, but we don't need any more. So by finding this way of healing and intuition, it strengthened my ability to, and maybe my confidence to say, yes, look, here's what it's saying. Here's what the message is. And we even practice with our daughter. She's been through some significant situations in life, more than anybody should have to go through. And we worked together to work with her and to kind of introduce to her. And she was blown away. She's just like, whoa, this is weird, but tell me more, So that to me was our biggest critic and probably our biggest challenge, because we want the support of our family around us.
How old is she?
She's 14.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So now we have kind of a running joke of, we've got Wellness Wednesdays and Tarot Tuesdays, and,
Cool.
what's next?
That's fun.
So it's more about embracing the culture of healing, whether it's our own personal healing, our emotional healing, physical healing, mental health, physical health. It's all of those things of wellness. We just happen to have some really cool modalities that we can help others. So, again, just going back to, we just love to help in any capacity. It just depends on the person, what they might be looking for. So there's so much passion and love that we have to help others.
Oh, beautiful, beautiful. And as a couple, going through this program, what was it like, and being parents, business owners, how much time would you say like you had to dedicate to this program to learn? That's often a question I get a lot. Well, how much time is it going to take for me to learn these things? And so, you guys are, parents, working parents, you're a couple, and you have all these other businesses. And so can you share a little bit about that? Like, is it manageable? Did it feel too much? And be honest. Like, this is all about, like, I want it to be authentic.
Yeah.
I want people to really know.
Okay. So I wear my heart on my
Girl,
sleeve.
let me put my hair back.
Let me tell you. So one of the key things is, when we found the program, we knew it was going to be in the fall. And I remember saying, I need to talk to this lady. I need to find out if she's going to be okay with certain things.
Yes.
Because we already had
your schedule,
a full plate in our calendar. Just to kind of reiterate, we've got 6 kids between the 2 of us. We've got some adult children, but we've got 3 teenagers, heavy schedules, sports kids. He's a coach. We run our 3 businesses, and I work full time, and we're both master's students in school. So we're in our master's program, graduate students. And during this program, I was going to leave for travel for school. I had to do a residency. So I called Jen and I said, okay, before we commit to anything, are you going to be okay if this, and this? And yes, flexibility. And that was kind of one thing that said, oh, if you're willing to be flexible with me, I'll give you my all, right? So we signed up for the program, and then we got the schedule. And it was, at first, it was daunting, like, oh my gosh, can I commit to every single one of these nights and these calls? I love the fact that it was a hybrid where the majority is online. And to be able to go in person was also great too. I'll get to my feelings how I wish there were more of those. But it was scary just to commit because we have so many other commitments. But I will say that we were able to manage it. We were both on our own individual computers or cell phones dealing with, our own connections, because sometimes we weren't in the same place, same time. Yeah. There were times where we were driving to soccer practice and we had to call in before we could jump onto the computer, kind of a thing. And so we managed it, and you were so, so flexible and patient with us. So we're so grateful for that. But it was also something that became a culture in our home. So the kids helped us. It's like, oh, we're in spiritual school. We'll see you guys later. Take care of the dogs. Take care of his dinner. And so it was something that brought us together to work towards a goal. It just happened to be at the busiest time of year for us. And so we could do that with the load that we have. It's definitely doable. And more than anything, the commitment, calendar-wise, was difficult for us. But the emotional fulfillment, we didn't want those classes to end. We didn't want to get off the call. Like, when can we meet again? If only we didn't have XYZ things going on, we can do more. And so when it came down to hybrid time and meeting in person, it was fabulous. It's like it becomes your second family. And I think I told you this in class, Jen. You find your species. And when you find your species, you find those that are like you. And that is something that we found great energy from, and that filled our battery, recharged us, because we felt like we were with other people that understood us and that were like us, and we, gave and took to each other and supported each other. And so that is something that I'm so grateful for, because those become friends, and we'll keep them in our lives forever. So Jen, you're stuck with us.
Yay! Thank you. Well, you're stuck with me.
So from a management perspective, it was like, if only I had more time to take more classes with you, and it was just so manageable. I don't know if you want to add anything.
Yeah, no, just the flexibility is what I love. To be able to, like I still had a soccer coach, so be able to maintain
Mm-hmm.
my coaching, my practicing, school, and like just be able to work around. And I think the biggest thing is have that flexibility. Loved it. And again, the information you had, all I had to do was just pop in there. Da, 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 da. Got it. I'm all caught up. Like I'm set. Let's get ready.
Yeah, yeah. And then what did it feel like for it to be 12 weeks? Did it feel long? Did it feel short? Did it feel just about the right amount of time?
I think it was just about the right amount of time. I think we just fell in love with it for so much. It's like, let's do more.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I think for me, right amount of sessions. Sometimes I wish they were 2 in a week so we can get done and practice more and, kind of keep the momentum. But that's just me wanting to hurry up and go fast, and I was so eager about it, but it wasn't overwhelming in any way at all. At all.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Oh, good. Thank you for that. One of the things that I feel like is not done enough in other programs that I offer is for you to do outside practice with volunteers. Can you share a little bit about what that experience was like, and was it manageable? Was it hard to find volunteers? And then in addition to that, if you can share a little bit about what your experience was like doing distance healing versus in-person healing, because I know there's still a stigma around that. Like, can you really do healing work if I'm not there? So if you can each share your experience with both of those things.
Yeah, with me, it was gaining the individuals was a little bit tough, but obviously when you're starting something new, you always look to family and friends. So the fact that they were supportive, just finding the right time is what helped. So that was good. And then when actually trying to go there and do it, it was just like, okay, here we go.
Uh-huh.
Like now they're gonna know, now they're gonna see. So it was a little bit for me was like nervous-wracking a little bit, but going through it and understanding it, like it just the confidence got built up, with that just every single time. Okay, here we go. Well, we've been through it. Just meditate, go through it intuitively. You're gonna be fine, and that's the biggest thing in this program. It does help. It's like your confidence, because it's your intuition, knowing to feel okay with what you're sensing, because what you're sensing is right.
Mm-hmm.
It was awesome to understand that at the end, and I think I gained more confidence going through that. And the distance healing, that one was, even with myself, I was like, okay, we're gonna see how it works. And yeah, same thing, going intuitively channeling in, and then just going through knowing what the steps, kind of, so to say, and going through what we were practicing.
Mm-hmm.
And the results still prove the same.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, yeah, when you channel in and you speak intuitively and you're really honed in, you're going to get the results that they need.
Yeah, I'll add to that. I challenged myself. So finding volunteers, you go to family and friends, but I was really kind of holding back of who to go to. I wasn't sure kind of where I wanted to pull from. So at first I was struggling. The first volunteer was someone very close to me, but actually it was really interesting because there are things we just haven't talked about.
Mm-hmm.
And so through our volunteer session, things came out for the first time when wearing the professional hat. It was like intuitively, we just went through it, and it actually has probably opened up a different perspective for her. And I'm seeing changes in her that I don't even know that she realizes. So
Wow.
It's amazing to see that empowerment happened, even though we've been so close for so many years. So that was one aspect. But for the second volunteer, I didn't want to go with anybody I knew. I didn't want to, quote unquote, cheat. I didn't want to have somebody give me that grace just because they knew me. So I actually solicited a stranger on Facebook. And
oh, yeah.
it was quite interesting. And this is also for distance healing as well. So I solicited someone on Facebook, and they signed up, they volunteered, no problem. Never met this person, had no idea who this person was, didn't even have their phone number. We had some technical difficulties, but we got it done. I was able to perform a distance healing session with this person. And about a week later, I got a wonderful response from her saying, thank you so much for all that you did, because it's meant XYZ to me, and you've helped me in these ways, and good luck to you, and I would definitely come to you again. That
Oh,
was so
beautiful.
validating. And to have that for a distance healing, like I didn't get to touch this person. I didn't get to, put my Mama Val love on them, but somehow, some way it worked. And it was definitely validating for me to say, no, this is real. It doesn't have to be in person. And as long as you believe in yourself and what you're doing, it can connect with the other person. So it was really great for me to have that experience, because up until that point, I was looking to only do in person. And that was one of our was, we don't have the space yet. We're looking for that next step, but how do we help people now? And when we went through the distance healing, it was like, it is possible. It is. So.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. So as we end, if there's anything else that you would like to share about your experience in the program or the certification that I haven't touched on, if there's anything that you want to add, you're welcome to share with the community now, if you haven't shared it already.
I just want to add, the quality of the program. So I looked high and low for different schools. There's specific ones that I found that might match kind of the quality of this program. But going through this program, I learned that it's not just the information provided. It's the knowledge, it's the experience, it's the ability to, for the instructor to help me find my way, find my strengths. It wasn't necessarily learning and conforming to the instructor. That is so rich in quality for me, because you gave me the opportunity to empower and become my best version of myself. And that's something that it's not scripted in the description of the program. It's not in, kind of the selling point, so to speak. It's really, the quality of this program, the quality of the content. I kept saying, can this stuff just be plastered on my walls, because it's so enriching in so many ways, and it's so empowering just as a person, as a woman, in so many ways. And so to add that layer of healer on it was really, really great, to have that quality program, irrespective of what certification came from it or what we do with it. That knowledge and content will forever be in my skill set from now on. So I'm so thankful to you. And I know we've said it to you a million times, but we just love you, and we appreciate the program and the time and the energy that you put in, because it's unlike anything else that we found out there.
Yeah, and having the ability to create that non-judgmental free space is good for me. Knowing that it's okay to be here, and we're all here to learn, like knowing that, we make mistakes, but the way you brought, the class, and when we're there together, it's like family.
Aww.
Yeah.
That's so sweet. Thank you so much. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm typing and I'm feeling it at the same time. Thank you. That is just so awesome and amazing, because, that's one of the things that I know I don't do enough of is sharing those nuggets where, how much it does make an impact, the quality of it. And I guess that's where I'm a little bit more shy or modest, but as a business owner, I should not be.
Yeah, no, it's our foundation for this portion of our business. So expanding our business to now encompass this side. I mean, it's so rich in quality and so well done that it set us up for success. And it set us up to be who we were meant to be. And that's something you can't purchase in one person or one particular, program. So the fact that we got that from you naturally, and just for you being who you are and how you are, we couldn't have asked for a better instructor.
Oh, thank you. One thing, someone's asking, is it Reiki? And I just put no, it's a combination of various healing modalities. Can you share just really quick about, I don't know if you already were certified in Reiki, but a majority of my students who come into this program are already certified in Reiki. Um, I don't know if you guys have experience in that, but
We're all
no. Okay.
newbies.
Okay, okay, good.
We didn't have anything. This is our
Okay,
first
yeah,
like energy
yeah.
healing certification program, like this holistic modality. Like this was our first one. We went
Oh,
in
We
all
knew we
in.
were different. We kept going to readings. We kept trying to figure out our auras, and we're like, let's just jump in. And we learned so much. So no, it's not
Yeah.
Reiki. He's had a Reiki session, so
Yeah.
we're not against it. But I wanted to do something more emotional for me, something more deeply connected in different ways. And so your program was a little more rounded than just one modality.
Right.
So having the different modalities and the combinations and learning how they all work together, in
Yes.
energy healing. I think energy healing is the greater umbrella, and learning all the different tools within that was key for us.
Yes.
Yeah, because the different modalities is the crystal healing, like you mentioned, Jose, the trance journeys, the sound healing. A lot of my practitioners, they end up either just learning about it and they're like, oh my God, Jen, I've become a
Yeah.
sound healer. And like that's their primary focus. So you learn about sound healing, aura and chakra balancing and cleansing, how to read the chakra system, how to get to the root cause, as Valerie had mentioned. So that was totally in line with what you were doing or wanting to focus on. So you're also tapping into your higher senses, your clair senses, your psychic senses. So we go beyond just what are the understandings of intuition, but your understanding about how to really channel in the way that you understand how to read energy, or if you're getting information from a guide or their guides or a loved one or their higher self, the ancestors, and so on. And I do feel like there's also a component of, embracing your culture, learning more about your history. That's been part of my journey too, as becoming a healing practitioner, is where do my gifts come from? It's in my DNA. So I feel like this program too also helps you to venture into your family history and learning more about where it comes from, even the indigenous and the ancestral medicine that ends up coming through, I think is definitely a component of this program that I see a lot.
Definitely. And utilizing all those combination of modalities as our strength and tools helps strengthen our senses and our own personal gifts that we have. So that was something that was kind of the bonus for me. I didn't expect to find so many senses and so many gifts that I naturally had. So being able to tap into those, be able to understand them and strengthen them through this practice while learning so much more was so great.
I think you said it well. It's like, we didn't just have these. It's been passed on. Everyone's first life, it could be from generations and generations. Like, how else are we taught? And if you look back in, we don't know what we're coming to this life with. So having those, learning about energy healing, it's just not the now.
Yeah.
It could be from your ancestors, from your past. Like, it could be lots of things. So
and one more thing, I will say that also to continue our own personal healing in journey through this. We were expecting to be students and learn how to do this craft, but through it, we were able to strengthen our own selves, our connections, like you were saying, to our past. Jen, you did a healing session on me, and it validated kind of where I had been years before for all these years, just using dancing as an example. Dancing has always been part of my life, and I somehow fell into, using that as a mentorship for teenagers, and then to learn through my healing session with you how that tied back to my ancestors. I was in tears after that, because it was like there was a reason why I was where I was. There's a reason
Mm-hmm.
I'm supposed to be doing that. So it helped confirm my own personal purpose in life as well through this journey. So I just thank
Aw.
you for
Oh, thank you. Thank you for allowing me. So what's next in this venture that you guys are in? You know, if you could share with us again, and we'll close on this. What is the name of your business, your website, Instagram, all the socials if you can, and what's next in your business that we can
Okay.
learn about?
Our website is valemosllc.com/CPP. CPP stands for Creative Passion Partners, and that's our business that we run. So we have, 3 different programs that you can choose from, but our personal growth program is in this, where we use these modalities and the certification to let others know we're here to help.
So that's a personal program.
the personal program, and that program strives to support individuals in achieving their holistic well-being and balance, fostering physical, emotional, and spiritual harmony. We're trying to cultivate that optimal health and elevate spiritual awareness and empower individuals to lead harmonious and balanced lives. So that's personal. We've all got tons of services. Our social media is Creative Passion Partners. Bailamos LLC is our larger company, so it's a one spoke of our company, which is why the backslash. But we would love to, invite anybody to contact us if they have questions about your program or if they have questions about our services as well.
Yeah, and then what are your socials?
Creative Passion Partners. Creative Passion with PTS.
PTS. And can you do you guys have access to the comments?
Yeah.
Are you able to put the website and the socials so that in case, is that the best way to reach you if they want to learn about your programs or just even the mentoring of how to even get started with it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Awesome. Thank you for that. So before we wrap up, is there anything else that anyone would like to add in the comments, questions? Yes, this is, it's a 3-month program. Sometimes it's 12. I did put 12, but this time around it's 14 weeks. It is a hybrid. So we meet mainly online. We do meet once a month in person. And for those who can't meet in person, you'll still be online. You will be able, oh, that's Natalia. You will be able to, work with me one-on-one. Thank you, Jose, for putting that information in. There's also an early bird special right now. So if you are ready, you can go on my website, www.themysticlivingschool.com/certification. You'll see that my early bird special goes until next Friday, the 26th, I believe. Oh, hi, Claudia. Thank you for the first name. I'm a first name type of person. I'm very personable. But yeah, so the early bird goes until next Friday. I do have a very generous payment plan. I'm always welcome to work with anyone who needs a different type of payment plan. I'm very flexible in that way. I am one who wants to empower my community, especially those who may have some other financial difficulties because maybe you're a working mom or a working parent and you have to make sure that all your bills and everything are done. I don't want this certification to not be available. I really want it to be accessible for everyone. So with that, thank you again, Valerie and Jose, for sharing your time and your information and being just so generous with the information that you shared and your experience, and also just, again, being called and listening to that calling to be of service to your community in all the different ways, and just being an example that it doesn't have to be a one-way road as to how you help people,
Right.
And I think that's just a beautiful thing. So thank you so very much.
Thank you. We love you.
Thank you. Love you too. Have a beautiful rest of your day. And in case you're watching this later, thank you so much for sticking around and staying with us. And I will see you all later.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you. Thank you.